So, welcome. Like I said, welcome to the second annual remembrance ceremony that we got going on here in our wonderful city of New York for a extremely harrowing day for millions of Americans and people worldwide. As a New Yorker, um, this day really hits hard for most of us here. So, we're here to pay our respects. We're here to acknowledge, you know, the camaraderie that came afterwards, the good and the bad, and the ways that this world has changed afterwards. A lot of things have changed since that day. A lot of people's lifestyle changes. A lot of people's respect for this country changed. A lot of people's mentality changed. Everything changed for a lot of people, and that's part of who we are as a society now. Uh, so 22 years ago, there's a group of people that hated America so badly that they decided to commit, in many people's opinions, the most atrocious act ever committed against us. Well over 2,000 people died in almost what most people would describe as a split second. That's it's too much for a lot of people, but for America, for our country, it was just the beginning. Members of the NYPD, members of Port Authority Police, members of FDNY, private ambulance services, and very, very big amount of other agencies that I can't name. Federal agencies, other state agencies, other local agencies, the sheriff's office. All sorts of agencies assisted on that day, and 343 firemen died on that day, as recorded by the fire department. Essentially, just trying to get people out of the building, just trying to give them a sense of hope, get them out, help them survive. They went up there and they didn't come back. Some of their remains have never been recovered, and they're just listed as missing. Their remains are just missing. They buried caskets with nothing in it. That's it's horrible for those families, and because of that, this day will always live in their minds and in their hearts, even for people that are in their family that didn't even come out of the womb yet. They weren't even alive at that time, and they know. So we should know, and we should continue the traditions presented by those guys, those heroes that went in there, knowing fully well what could have happened, and they swallowed it. They swallowed their pride, and they just went in, and they didn't come out. 343 firemen, 23 NYPD officers. If I'm not mistaken, it's 37 Port Authority PD officers. And for Port Authority PD, they lost a lot of good people. They lost their superintendent. They lost their deputy superintendent. They lost most of their chain of command that day. FDNY lost tons of line and division officers, chiefs. We lost a lot. That being said, I'm going to now turn it over to the FDNY commissioner. If the commissioner could step up. Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right, can everyone hear me today?
We can't hear you
Yes,
over
sir.
here.
So you got to set it to shouting.
Where's that?
Flex your F11 muscle.
this any better?
No.
No.
Any better?
Press
No.
Lisa. Think your shift tilde.
I hit it.
We can kind of hear you better now.
Yeah.
Anyone that can't
So-
hear him, if you press delete, you're able to activate a
Am I
camera and you
shouting?
can go up next to him and
I'm
listen to him.
29.
His magical number is 8.
All right, so it's better for everyone.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm here to talk to not only ladies and gentlemen in front of me, but to all my fellow New Yorkers. Whereas today, we're gathered here for one reason, and that reason is to pay tribute to the heroes and the victims of the fateful day we all known as September 11th, 2001. As it's true, most of you were just kids or weren't even alive during the time of these attacks. But almost, I can say at least half of you in front of me have been affected in one way by this event. If it's a family friend, if it's a family member, or if it's someone who's been sick, all from this attack upon us, our city. As the commissioner of the FDNY, I stand before you with a heavy heart, but also with an unwavering resolve and immense pride in our department and our city. 22 years have now passed since these tragic events, but the memories of that day stay in our minds and hearts every single day these past 22 years. On a sunny, clear September morning, our city faced an unimaginable crisis, and it called upon not only just our firefighters, but our EMS personnel and every first responder to exhibit the utmost courage, dedication, and sacrifice to this city. On that day, 343 of my brave firemen, alongside countless other first responders, made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. With that being said, there are also hundreds of subsequent deaths that have occurred as a result of the toxins on Ground Zero. Their selflessness, their unwavering commitment to saving lives, and their willingness to run towards danger when everyone else was running away is the defining characteristics of any New York division, either the FDNY, the NYPD, Sheriff's Office, or MTA. We'll never forget their sacrifice, and always, every day of every year, we will honor their memory. But as I get into this, I don't believe 9/11 was only a day of tragedy. It was also a day of resilience and unity. In the face of terror upon our city, our people came together like never before. Ordinary citizens becoming heroes, helping one another, demonstrating just the true spirit of what a New Yorker really is. We truthfully saw the best of humanity in the worst of times. But today, as we remember the fallen, let us also reflect on the strength and resilience that has emerged from the ashes of Ground Zero. Look around. Our city is rebuilt, our community has healed, and our resolve to protect our great city grew stronger. The world truly witnessed an indomitable spirit of New York, a spirit that continues to inspire me every single day. As FDNY Commissioner, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the men and women who serve in our department today. They carry on the legacy of those who made the ultimate sacrifice that day on 9/11/2001. They stand ready to respond to any emergency, no matter the danger, no matter what type of call, and they do so with the same courage and dedication that defines New York. In the, in the face of adversity, we remain united. We remember those we lost. We honor their memory, and we commit ourselves to ensuring that their sacrifice will never be forgotten. Our children, our grandchildren, will remind them about the sacrifices they made on that day. Our city our departments, and our people are all resilient and together. And as we've proven time and time again, every year after, is we will always rise above. Finally, may we never forget those heroes on 9/11. May their memory continue to inspire us and inspire you to be the best version of yourself and to live life as best you can while it's here, because no day is guaranteed, especially in the jobs we do. All I ask is you all stand strong, stand together, and stand as a New Yorker, which was shown what that truly meant that day. Thank you to everyone. That's all.
Would you like me to? I mean, I guess I can.
September 11th, 2001. A day where hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans woke up thinking, what a beautiful day. Unaware of what's yet to come. That day, hundreds to work, not knowing those would be the last footsteps they would take outside the house. Not knowing that the last time they ever saw their loved ones, the last time they ever got out of their car, worked so hard, saved up to buy, not knowing that it would be their last flight, not knowing it would be the last time they clock into work at the Pentagon or at the World Trade Center. Well, let's say an extreme amount of brave people woke up and never came back. As the fire commissioner said, this impacted the community of New York City, Washington, D.C., and the surrounding areas, and some parts of Pennsylvania. But one thing that's looked down upon is it brought us together. And it got us to be united as a country. And to have one common goal. To take down the people who did this to us. And though the people responsible are no longer with us, and though the event was so long ago, it is important to remember those who gave the brave sacrifice, simply trying to help others. Chief? Chief, that's your cue.
As was stated by multiple people, the tragic events of this day, 20 years ago, echoed across the entire country. In some way, shape, or form, every member of this country was affected, whether that be a citizen of the city of New York, a citizen in Pennsylvania, or a citizen in Washington, D.C. At some point in that time frame, you have met or know somebody who served, whether that be law enforcement, fire, EMS, or in the military. Primarily those that have served in the military post 9/11. We all know somebody that has been to Iraq, been to Afghanistan at one point in their lives. To the members that responded on that morning, knowing the dangers, they still put that danger of what could happen to them above, or they still put the priorities of the city and the innocent people that were injured, hurt, or needed help. They put their priorities over their own. Their selfless duty will always be remembered, and they'll never be forgotten. Mr. Mayor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that's all for tonight. It's set for our wonderful NYPD band that's going to go ahead and play something for us. While we're doing that, we'll go ahead and take that as our quote unquote moment of silence.
Sir, could I have you step back, please? Detail. Attention. Present Arms. Detail. Order. Arm. Detail. Dismissed.
Hey, there's something wrong with this.
Costello.